everybody. Just popping in for a quick live stream this morning. I'm just getting a few things sorted. Just loading up the computer and everything. So if anybody's on, please just give us a thumbs up and tell us where you're from, and I'll get things started in just a second. Computer's a bit slow this morning. We've got a few things to cover this morning. Going to be covering stuff about the block, up and coming classes on YouTube, and also just to have a little bit of a talk about some of the things that you'll see pop up on my Instagram and class samples and everything. And also a cheats way of squaring up a block. So we're going to get stuck into that just shortly. So hopefully everybody's here and they can see and hear me. That'd be great. And so yeah, we'll get started just firstly talking about the things that we've got coming up in March on YouTube. You would have and also on Facebook, you would have noticed that I've only got 3 live chats for Facebook, mainly because it just gives us a good break between, and a lot more questions will come up, and it frees up a little bit of time for me to get my samples and stuff done. We've got 4 classes set down for 4 or 5 classes set down for on the channel for different things to make. We've also got Easter coming up at the end of March, which is good. I'm looking forward to my long weekend. And yeah, and we're just going to talk a little bit about the quilting queue and stuff that's happening here in at the studio itself. So I will start off by trying to get my computer to play games, not play games this morning. It just doesn't want to do anything. All right, let's fingers crossed, everybody, that Facebook's going to load up for me. Because at the moment I'm just using my phone and using my data off my phone, so yeah. All right, so as I was saying, I've only got 3 live streams set down for Facebook this coming month, mainly because I have classes starting up over at Nanango, and also I have a lot of stuff going on in the studio as well. I've got a few custom quilts to do, so I needed to free up a little bit of time. So I've made them for every 2 weeks, and basically what that means is it gives us a good space between. It also gives us a chance for the third block to come out. Hi Linda, thanks for joining us today. It gives us a chance for that third block to come out, which I will be sending off to Linda today to test that for me. Basically, yeah, and that way, if any questions do arise, we'll be okay. Like, we'll be able to cover it. So yeah, so that was my reasoning behind that. Oh, sorry, I've just got, my computer has just decided to fire up, and I can't get my volume to go away. Okay, so, yeah, so basically, it will basically mean that we'll have more time to talk about things in the group, and we'll be able to get things happening a little bit better. More questions will arise, and I will have more of a chance to see those questions, and also organize some stuff for demos and stuff like that comes up. So that was the reasoning behind that. We also have, in the file section on Facebook, we have our new calendar has gone up for those that haven't seen it yet. We have, so you should be able to just click on that and it should open up. That's basically how I've set it up for February as well. So you'll be able to print that off and put it in your diary, put it on your fridge, wherever you want to do. So that should be okay to print out. If it doesn't print out and you're over on my blog, underneath the calendar, which is green and has March on it, you can click on the link there and it'll just open up in Drive, and you can print it directly from there. So that just makes it easier for you to know what is going on and where to be at any particular time. And just a note on the Facebook chats, I've made them all for 10 a.m. because I've got a lot of stuff on with dancing and everything now that school's started back, and I'm trying to work around my family with the quilting, so I'm finding that I'm getting up very early in the morning. And as you would have seen on my quilting page, this morning I was up at 6 o'clock and I was already quilting. So hi Ellen, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so basically that's the reasoning behind that. So what do we have coming up on YouTube? We have a few things this month coming up. We have a zipper pouch using a lace zip, which I forgot to grab. I'll just show you what it looks like. So we're going to be using, I'll just get one of these, and we're going to be making a little zipper pouch using those. So the demo will show you how to use these in the proper fashion, and little tips and tricks to stop you from having any issues or anything like that. So that will be going up on the first week of March. Sorry, I know I'm not looking at you right now, but I'm just trying to get everything to come up. My computer is being super slow this morning. Very frustrating. Okay, so hi Sarah, how are you going today? All right, so we've got the lace zipper pouch on the first Friday of March, which is the 2nd, and then we'll have our third block. And I think you'll like the block this time. It's got a few of the techniques that we've used in the last two sort of combined, so it's a nice little block. And then we have a sewing machine needle organizer. So it basically, I'm still in the process of assembling it at the moment. So basically it's like a little flip wallet, and yeah, and you'll be able to store all your sewing machine needles in that. And we have an ironing board caddy, which is on the 23rd. That should go up of March. And then finally we'll be doing some beginner paper piecing. So it's just a mini quilt. It's probably about this size behind us. It's not that quilt. It's yeah, it's a nice little one for you guys that are just going into spring. It's actually a nice little one. So yeah, so it's working with smaller pieces, but because, hi Stacey, how are you going? It is working with some smaller pieces, but because you're doing the paper piecing, you won't have to worry about your points or anything like that. So I'm going to show you some tips and tricks with doing that, and excuse me, and just basically what I do for all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, and that's pretty much everything we've got going on. We've got some tips and tricks as well for March as well. That'll go up on the Tuesday, just little different things. If you can hear that banging in the background, I do apologise. My husband's just come home with a truckload of steel and he's unloading it just there. So, yeah, he said he'll be as quiet as he can, but his timing wasn't very good today. So, I had a lot of questions about the bag that I put up on Instagram the other day, this one here. Okay, and I don't think Sylvia's in the chat at the moment, so I'll just go ahead and have a little bit of a chat about that. This is a class that I'm running over at Untitled Designs next month. I think it is on the 13th of next month. So after the 13th, I will be able to, because I'll be with Sylvia, and I'll be able to have a bit of a discussion with her and work out how many patterns she's got and all the rest of it, and then give you access to where to get it from. And it's a little lunch bag. It's not quite finished yet. I've still got to put a little press stud here. It called for Velcro in the pattern, and I'm not a fan of Velcro, so I'm just using, and nor is, because I made this for Savannah, nor Savannah, so she just wants a little red snap button there, and I've just got to top stitch it and then it's finished. But that's essentially the bag, and we used some Insel Bright in it and to turn it into a little carry lunch bag for her. So I am going to do an online class for it, but I just want to make sure that the pattern is still available, and I need to talk to Sylvia for that, and I just haven't been able to catch up with her in the last couple of weeks because I've been super busy. So as soon as I know anything, ladies, I definitely will let you know, and I will most likely be running this in April, so in time for Mother's Day. So I'm looking at doing some little quick gifts for Mother's Day, and this is super quick. It's super quick. You'll have this done in an hour and 15, It's very basic to put together, and it goes together just lovely. So yeah, really, really good pattern. All right, so I will keep you posted on that one. As soon as I know anything, you'll be all knowing about it. And I've got a few other classes. So some of you also asked about this class here. I'm thinking that I'm going to be doing this in April as well. And you'll be able to purchase the pattern and everything. That will go up into my Etsy store next week. I'm expecting a delivery of this pattern. So you'll be able to get that, and it will be there, and I will let you know. I still haven't finished this because I've run out of white fabric, and it just has one more border to go on it, and it's just a little mini. It's about 16.5 inches, but it'll either be April or May that I run this one. So that was one that we've done in class already. So yeah, they're just some of the things that I've got planned for mini quilts, because as you know, I asked that question the other day about what you'd like to see. Now, Sarah, I am working on looking at that jelly roll rug and doing it in the round. Just bear with me, hun. I do have a lot happening right about now with everything starting back for the year, but I will get to it and have a good look at it and see how I can go putting something together for you. Can't give you a time frame on it though, hun, because it all depends on what's happening here in class. Now, that's pretty much everything that's happening on the YouTube channel and in Facebook, this group. Now, I do have a lot of people that are from my quilting page, Darvanalee Designs Longarm Quilting service. They've come over to join us. Now, as you know, some of you may know, I have my granddaughter living with me, so I'm trying to work around a very busy 2-year-old at the moment, and it is actually slowing down my quilting productivity. I am getting them done. I am working very odd hours. I'm doing nighttime. I'm doing early hours of the morning, so I can spend time with her during the day because she's becoming more demanding. So I do apologize if you have a quilt here and it is taking a little bit longer, but I am getting through them, and with the help of other family members at home, they're helping me get through that stuff. I am looking for daycare for her, but as I live in a small country town, there's not a lot around at the moment for her age group. It seems to be all booked up, and I sort of want to get family daycare where it's not a large centre as such. It's just more of a smaller group, because I just don't think, just knowing her personality, and she's very much doesn't cope with a lot of noise and stuff like that in a big group setting, but she's okay in a small setting. So I sort of want to look at getting that. And as I said, in a small country town, there's not a lot of it, and I don't want to rely on friends to babysit her all the time. So I'm just relying on my partner at the moment and my girls when they're home, and when they're not off doing their other stuff. So I am getting through your quilts. I do make your quilts a priority. Lynn, I'm almost finished your quilt. I've probably got another 6 hours, 7 hours to go on it, so it will be ready for pickup next week. Our classes have all started back, so back onto the classes. We're up and running, and some of you may have noticed that I cancelled my sit and sew classes for Monday. There was a couple of reasons for that. I cancelled them because, one, there's been lack of interest this year, so I left it running for a month, and I've had pretty much no people coming in, or people do book and then they don't show up. So I figured that it was just easier to cancel those classes, because they've always been a little bit hit and miss anyway. And yeah, so basically what I've done is I've just cancelled that, and that what it has done is given me an extra day for prep work and all that sort of stuff. So I can get quilts loaded, I can get backs pieced, I can get quilts that need binding done and all that sort of stuff. So that was the reasoning behind that. It doesn't mean that they're never going to run again. It just means at this particular time there's no interest for them, so I'm just going to not worry about doing them. While we're talking about classes, I am doing 2 extra classes over in Nanango starting in March, so I'll be there for a couple of Tuesdays and a couple of Saturdays. So we found from the feedback last year that a few people would prefer to do stuff during the week and not as opposed to on the weekend. So we're catering for both groups, and we've got 2 Tuesdays set down, and we've got 2 Saturdays set down, and that's up until June, because we've planned up until June. We have, as I said, we have this little bag coming up, and that's on the 13th, and then we have a heart quilt that we're doing using the AccuQuilt cutter. So for those that were saying that they wanted AccuQuilt cutting classes, that were like, because I know that those ladies that wanted them were local, we have the classes running over at Untitled Designs, and we have, I'm stepping out and I'm actually going to be teaching how to make a pair of shorts. I have made shorts before, and these are little kids shorts, and they're using the Tada patterns. And I'll have more information on those as it becomes available. And we also have the Diva purse that we'll be making as well. So that's pretty much all my classes at this point. Thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate your understanding that family does come first. So yeah, so I really did appreciate all the suggestions that everybody gave me the other day. We had some stuff about foundation paper piecing, also some English paper piecing as well, which I have a mini quilt that I've designed, and it uses piecing, normal piecing techniques, and also English paper piecing techniques. So that was an awesome one to pop up, because it jogged my memory that that's what I wanted to do. There was a couple of suggestions for more things to use with our scrap fabric and everything, so I'm working on a pile of scraps at the moment, making the rope and whatnot, but I do have a couple of other ideas. So I'm thinking that in the month of April, along with the bag and possibly this mini quilt, just a couple of little quick gifts using our scraps. So things like not just fabric, but also looking at things like the leftover foam that we use in some of our bags and placemats and things like that, leftover wadding, what you can do with that, and leftover quilt backing, what you can do with those. And people just seem to get, like, if you're anything like me, you just end up having a massive pile of leftover stuff, and it gets very frustrating because you know, they're odd shapes and you don't necessarily know what to do with them. So I thought for my leading up to Mother's Day, it'd be a good way to just have a couple of little quickie gifts to do. So they'll end up on the on YouTube. So they're in the planning at the moment, and they're nice and quick. Some of them you may have seen me do before and seen them in my shop and all that sort of stuff. Now we have Easter coming up and school holidays here in Australia. I just wanted to touch base on that. I am actually closed for public holidays, and I'm also closed but open by appointment only for school holidays. And our school holidays run for a couple of weeks. So if you're not sure if I'm open or not, I'm still on Facebook. I'm still active that way. I still have tutorials going up on YouTube and all the rest of it. But it just gives me a chance to, one, catch up on quilting, and because the girls are home so they can help me with Mia, and two, it gives me a chance to go out and do some stuff with my family and whatnot, and it makes it a little bit fair on the girls. So yeah, so that's the sort of things that we've got going on here at the moment. It's just going to be a short live one today, but I do have a tip. Leanne sent me a question the other day wanting to know about when a quilt is on point. So I'm just going to remove this for you for a second so I can use this and tilt the camera up just a touch. Is it going to go up for me? Yeah, just a touch. And I'm going to bring this little one over here so everyone can see that. Alright, so she asked me, Leanne's already designed her quilt and how it's going to go together, and she sent me a picture of it, and it's absolutely gorgeous what she's doing. So basically what she asked me was she was having trouble knowing what to do. Like, she wants to enlarge this block to 14.5 inches, and she got that part and that was okay. But she wanted to know, because all her blocks in her quilt are actually going to be on point. So all her blocks are going to have a little border around them, and they're going to be on point in her quilt. And her question was, how do you work out what size square, a size triangle that you need to go onto the square? So this, if anybody is anything like me and you just really can't be bothered with math, okay, this is what I do when I'm in a rush and time poor and I need to get something done and I just couldn't be bothered to sit down and think about what the size square is or anything like that, sit and do the mathematics and whatnot. So I grab my 12.5 inch square for this particular one, or I might grab my longer ruler. Okay. Well, this, you'll love this, Sarah, because like Sarah say she doesn't like math and she thinks that it's stupid. I'd have to agree. I'm actually okay at math. I used to be really good at it, but since I haven't really been doing a lot of it, and I swing between using inches and the metric system, so I'm using imperial and metric, I get confused very easily. And, you know, I'm happy to admit that sometimes my brain just doesn't want to work, and so I try to find a really quick way to do it. So this is my cheats way of doing it, and I'm sure there's people out there that would be just rolling their eyes right now, but you'll appreciate this if you don't like math. Okay, so you've got you've done your square and you want to put it on point. So now you've got another one up here that you might have another block here, and you've got to fill in a spot. So this is what I do, and you can do this for any size block. I basically measure this here, okay, and then I add an inch because that will actually give me enough room to trim around to give me my 1/4 inch. And if you're not sure, you get your 45, so which that's the one that goes from corner to corner, and you can actually put it 1/4 past. Okay, so I've measured that. I've come in 1/4 inch before I've put the square. Okay, and then I've got my 45 running across, and I know that if I make if I cut for this particular block, which is 12.5, if I cut a 10.5 inch square, okay, so there's my 10.5 inch square, okay, if I cut that and then cross cut it, I know that that triangle's going to fit on there, and it's going to give me enough room up here. It's probably about 3/4 of an inch it'll give you off each your points, and that is enough to square it up. And that's all I do, and it doesn't matter what size square I do that for. If I'm putting something on point, I just line my 45 on that and then add an inch. Oh, you love math, do you, Linda? Okay, well, you're going to be our go-to girl if that's the case. All right, everybody, Linda loves math. Me, not so much. But yeah, that's what I do. And that's just for putting things on point. Because when I'm doing a quilt or whatever, it is for me, because I do a lot of designing. I am doing it on, like, I'll just be writing things down and I'll have an idea and I'll set out a block, and then I'll think, oh, it's going to be on point. So what do I need to work out? So that's all I do. I just measure that, and it hasn't failed me yet. And so that is my, that is very funny, but I'm not going to repeat that, Sarah. That is all I do to just move on to the next step. So if you're going to add a border and you're going to add a border on it, all you're doing is you're measuring that outside border. So for instance, if we were doing this one here, okay, I know that's not a quilt block, but if we were doing this and it's got the little border on the outside, I just grab my ruler again and I just put the 45 on it. Obviously at the one that started at the beginning, and I know that I only have to cut, I could cut a 10 inch or about 10 inch square, and then cut that in half, and then I'll be fine. I know that it's gonna fit. I still hate math too, Sarah, but this helps me get through the day if I've got to do triangles, because you can do squares and you can do strips and you can do your borders and all that sort of stuff but triangular math seems to trip a lot of people up. So I've always just tried to find really quick ways to do it, and this one here that I just showed you now, I love it. It just works really easy. Although, you know, you can still double check it, you know, if you want to double check it before you cut, especially if you're going to use your pretty fabric out here and not a plain fabric. Always just double check it. My suggestion is to get paper. I've also done that before, where I've got butcher's paper, I suppose you call it, and I've just cut the squares out from that and then just made sure that they fit, and then that way I'm not cutting my fabric and I'm not wasting any fabric. You know, sometimes I might overestimate, so as opposed to overestimating and then running the risk of, you know, cutting off fabric and running out of fabric later down the track, I often use the paper method first. And I'm sorry, Leanne, I forgot to mention that to you the other day when we were inboxing each other. So yeah, so next time you're doing something like that, just give it a go and see how you go. But try it with paper first, even if you use newspaper or butcher paper, or you join a couple of pieces of printer paper together. It doesn't matter. Just so you've got enough there for the square you think you've got to cut. And then you just diagonally cut it, and then you just stitch it on as normal using your scant 1/4 inch, and then you can trim it up if you need to. So that was my little tip for today. I still may do a little tutorial on that and put it over on YouTube for you, and a little bit more clearer than that, so you can see the ruler marks and stuff like that. If you want me to do that, just let me know in the comments below, and I can put that onto the list to do. So my question to everybody is, how are you going with the block? Are you enjoying it? Leave a comment down below if you would like them to be a little bit harder, or whether you would like them to be a little bit easier. So I noticed that a few people had trouble with their flying geese, but you all done fabulous, especially to the ladies that have never done flying geese before. You done amazing. You got in, you had a go, which is awesome, and that's all we can really ask for. Okay, I've got my computer's just decided to wake up, and I've got all these messages flashing at me. Yeah, so hopefully you're loving the blocks. That's awesome, excellent. And okay, so the information on the scant 1/4 inch has been really helpful too. Awesome, I'm glad it has. Leanne did say that to me the other day, that she's really getting the hang of it now, and it has made all the difference. And you know what? Most of the old patterns, it just says 1/4 inch. It doesn't actually say scant. You'll probably find some of those older patterns that you've had will go together a little bit better, because a lot of those patterns were done with a scant. Some of your modern ones, not so much. They don't tend to use the scant as much, but some of your traditional blocks and stuff like that, they all use the scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. Love this way of learning, and the blocks have been fun, and we get so much help. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. Oh, that's awesome, Ellen. Did you get your machine back yet, Ellen? I was curious about that the other day, and I forgot to ask you when I seen you on. And have you had a go at the second block yet? I haven't been on Facebook this morning to check everybody's progress, so I may have missed it. I've been quilting since 6 a.m. and I'm on a mission to get this quilt done today, because it's been sitting in the machine for a couple of days now, and I've been working around Mia because she's not been very well. She's got the flu or something, so yeah. Yeah, just if you want any tips as well. So if there's something that you're struggling with, you can either send me an inbox, or you can put it up into the general community if you need help straight away. Okay, so you've got your block cut out. Awesome, Ellen. That's excellent. Yeah, so if you want any tips or anything like that, and you just because we've got that Tips and Tricks Tuesday, and we do 2 videos a month. It's a good place. It's a resource for you. So if you forget about it, you know that you've still got it there. So if you've got any suggestions of what you'd like me to do, or what you're having trouble with, please let me know, and I'll get it done as soon as I can for you. I've got a bit of a queue at the moment for tips and tricks. The ones that we've got coming up in March are a half square triangle cheat, how to do them really quickly, and I've got a couple of ways to do those, and also a quick and easy zipper tab. So you know when you've got a bag, it's got a zipper in it, and there's those little zipper tabs so you don't have the zipper getting caught up in your seam allowance. I've got a really cheats way of doing that. It's awesome, and you can't tell that it hasn't been done the other way. And it also reduces the bulk. So that's actually the first one that I've got going up for Tips and Tricks Tuesday, which is on Tuesday the 13th, that is. I think I had that down for. I'll just double check that. The internet is so slow here today. It's unbelievable. It's been very painful. So I'm guessing you guys have got a little bit of a lag. Sorry, the first Tips and Tricks Tuesday is on the 6th of March, and then the second one is on the 20th. So the half square triangle one is on the 20th, and the zipper tab one is on the 6th of March. So yeah, we can, you'll go, really, why didn't I do it that way? I come across this probably about 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm like, really, why have I been doing zipper tabs this other way, which is just painful? So hopefully you'll enjoy that, and it'll only be a quick little video, but you'll be able to do it. What's wrong, Bubba? Say hello to everybody. Say hello. Yep, I'm just going to look at the computer, are you? She's not feeling well, so she's very clingy at the moment, and yeah, so she's come to join me. So say hi. You want to say hi? Yeah, up here, look, up here. Say hi. Hi. Hello. Hi. Say hi. I'm little Em. So yeah, so they're just some of the things that so everybody's saying hello. There she is. Say hi. She's just seen herself on the computer, so she's big smiles now. Yeah, so she's not been feeling very well. She's yeah, so she's just come out to join me. She's been sitting with me this morning while I was quilting. She got her little lounge out, and she's just been sitting there. Normally she comes out here and touches everything. But today, you know when they're sick, because they're not up to their normal antics. So she got her couch, and she's got one of those little foam couches that folds out. And she got her blanket, which is an emoji blanket she got for her birthday from the girls. And it's her favourite blanket. And she just sat there watching us. So she hasn't eaten for the last couple of days. And today's the first day she's eaten. And she hasn't got a temperature today, thank goodness. So yeah, so she's on the mend, and she'll be back to her normal antics soon. So yeah, can you see yourself? she can see herself on the computer screen, and so she's like moving her head and all the rest of it. Yeah, this is you. Oh yeah, that's you. Anyway, ladies, thank you. Yeah, she's got big brown eyes. They're almost black. Her mum's got big eyes like that too. My eldest daughter. So yeah, and she tries the puppy dog eyes with me all the time, and I'm like, no, it's not happening. Trying to get lollies and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's all the things that we've got happening here, and all the stuff that we've got coming up on the YouTube channel. So again, if you've got any questions about the blocks, or that you need help with something, please don't be shy. Her hair, oh my goodness, her hair is unbelievable at the moment, because we've had a lot of hot weather and very humid weather, and yeah, and her hair, I've got to get some oil and put it in, and yeah. Hey Linda, didn't know you were lurking in the background watching, were you? She's off again, she's gone, and yeah. So her hair just, it's like all these curls at the moment, and it's probably as long as mine, if not a little bit longer. It's just that it's so curly that it just all comes up. So we've been keeping it up, and yeah, I've got some vitamin E oil to put in her hair, and I use argan oil too for her hair. it makes it really soft and manageable. And yeah, and my Miss Savannah had hair like this when she was little too. So, and I've got quite wavy hair myself. I just blow dry mine straight, and, you know, brush it into submission and all the rest of it. But yeah, so I'm going to call it a day now because she's starting to get a little bit fussy and whatnot. So thank you to everybody that joined me. And as I said, if you've got any questions, just pop me an inbox. I'm happy to answer it in an inbox. But, you know, put it up to the general community because there's a wealth of information here and we're all here to help each other. And I will see you all very soon. Is that you, Mia? Uh-oh. What did you do? Nothing? And I will see you all very soon. Have a great day or evening, no matter where you are, and happy quilting, everybody. Have a great day. Bye for now. Bye. Bye.